What's up? What's up? Welcome to the Knicks Cave. I'm Jan, the Nick fan, your host, and we live, y'all. All right, y'all. Let's get into this video real quick because we got a game coming on. The Knicks will be taking on the Boston Celtics. We're gonna talk about that at the end of the show. I hope some of y'all hit me up in the comments. All right. So with that being said, we got Brunson back. That first game. What can I say? You can tell he was rusty, but what I'm worried about is should he play? Let's talk. Should he play these last games? I know people talking about that. The, them awards, trying to get him into the awards, but he need to play. All right. Brunson. Should he play or should he rest for the last games? Maybe one or two more games, get his legs under him. I'm worried about another injury. I know it's not likely, but anything can happen. But that's what I'm really worried about is the injury. I want nothing else to happen to him going to the playoffs. And but I think he should be all right. I think that him coming back, just the amount of games that's left was a good thing. Honestly, I thought they was going to keep him out until the playoffs start, but then it would have been like preseason for him. Got to get him back into game playing shape. Um, we got a couple of games left. We got Boston, then we got Cleveland, then we got Boston, the Detroit, and Cleveland. So we got a couple of games that he can play that should help him get them legs back under him. But one of my biggest concerns is, other than that injury, is how much will his ball dominate? Because as we've seen this for a few seconds in that game, his returning game, he had the ball. He tried to get himself going. It's only natural. You know what I'm saying? He's the captain. He's our best player. Try to get himself going. It kind of put the guys back into standing around mode. I wanted to see that offense flowing. The last 15 games, he's been out the ball, really been moving. We've been averaging close to 30 assists a game. And when the Knicks get 30 assists a game, we're 24 and 3. So my concerns are with him and the minutes. Want to give a shout out to Narcissistic Knicks. Yeah, I'm gonna talk about Tibbs in a second too. I'm gonna talk about Tibbs and really Mike Malone, Denver. That's shocking, and it could happen. But right now, we're gonna stay on Brunson for a hot second. Then we're gonna move along. Cause like I said, the game is coming on at 7:30, so we can't really. It's not gonna be a long video. Like I said, he's a dominant ball guy, ball hawk. Let's be real. I was wondering how it's going to affect Anunoby's game. Anunoby been playing lights out, and it's not just the games that Brunson missed. He been playing he been getting busy. You know what I'm saying? I actually made a video about him being the third option. We're going to talk about that. But just everybody in general, you know what I'm saying? Is it going to take away from their gameplay? I know a lot of people worry about Mikal Bridges. I'm not worried about Mikal Bridges. To be real, I think Mikal is, I'm not going to say he's worth the 5 picks we gave up, but picks are picks. But at the same time, I'm going to say that he's doing a hell of a job. We forget that most nights when he is playing that he is guarding the opposing team top player. So it's going to take away from his scoring. When we play them teams that's under 500, you see him have breakout games. He get busy. Let's be real. He get really busy. Excuse me, y'all. Sorry. He get busy. So I'm not worried about Mikal Bridges. Playoffs is going to be it's going to be exciting for the New York Knicks. But like Nigel just said, Tiz fitting to be fired. We're going to talk about that. But besides that, pardon me for a second there. Forgot to hit my man Brunson up doing a live. That's why I don't do that many lives. But anyway, wondering how Brunson, the team's going to react. You know what I'm saying? We seen them out there the game against the Suns. He looked rusty, but he looked like himself, like he was trying to find his shot, like he was thinking more, especially that first half. Second half, he came out, he relaxed a little bit. The team, the team looked good. If he can play the way he played, he still had around 6 assists. I didn't look up the stats for the game. I think he had around 6 assists. But I think we can continue the style of play that we was playing when he was out. We're gonna get past that first round, whether it be Detroit or be I about to say Boston, Detroit or the Bucks. And with that being said, we're gonna move right along. Like I said, game about to come on, and I gotta get me a co-host. To be real, I gotta get me some co-hosts. We can sit down and go side to side, do some call-ins. You know what I'm saying? Have guests come in from the comments. So y'all can get up there and see what's going on. Yeah, like I said, let's get into this real quick. Let's go to the playoffs. If you look at the bracket right now, we already see Cleveland locked up that first place. Boston got the second. We see that play-in with the Bulls and the Heat. I'm not gonna lie, Orlando, I'm surprised that they in the play-in. I know they had a lot of injuries, but Banchero came back and they was still in a good position that they could have. I thought they would have been at least fifth or at least fourth. They was playing good basketball, even with him hurt. So I'm kind of shocked they fell back so much. Then, the Hawks, I'm not a big content. I don't think the Hawks they have pieces. I'm just not a believer in Trae Young. I think he can be a good player, but a starter, the man, I don't think he can be the man. Trae Young can't lead a team to a championship. I don't think so. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe in another 2-3 years, players do mature. They see things differently as you get older. That's everything in life. So maybe in a couple of years. But right now, I don't think Trae Young can lead a team to a championship. But it moves us to Detroit, you know what I'm saying? And y'all seen one of my previous videos. I was really hoping that we would have been playing the Bucks. I think the Bucks will be a much easier team than the Pistons. But either way, I think the New York Knicks is going to get past the first round. And with that being said, we're going to talk a little bit something about Nationalistic Knicks brought up. Mike Malone was fired today, y'all, and the Nuggets is sitting in the fourth place in the Western Conference. They really didn't give any reason. I'm baffled. But what do this mean for the New York Knicks and Tom Thibodeau? If we can't get out of the first round, matter of fact, if we can't get out of the second round, I know there's a relationship between Rose and Tibbs, but if we can't get out of the second round, matter of fact, if we can't get out of the first round, Tibbs deserves to get fired. But if we can't get out of the second round, it's going to be the same old thing. I know a lot of people out there talk about Tibbs is the best Knicks coach we had in a long time. He surpassed Pat Riley with 225 win victories. At the same time, when I look at Tibbs' record, I compare it to Pat Riley, but then I think about coaches that we had in the past, and a lot of them didn't have that many years that Tibbs had, and the ones that had been coaching the Knicks for multiple years, maybe 2, possible almost 3 years, they didn't have the roster that Tom Thibodeau had. Now I'm not getting down on Tom Thibodeau, but a lot of people like to give him this credit that he's such a great coach, and I say he's a good assistant coach. I'm not going to change my mind on that. But at the same time, I think Tibbs, he got to do a lot of adjustments. I'm just going to be real. He got to make a lot of adjustments when he's playing. He got to learn to trust other players on the team other than his starters or his favorite players. And sometimes you just got to mix the rotation up when players are not having a good game, whether it even be Jalen Brunson. I'm going to be real with you. He got to be willing to be courageous enough, willing to make a switch, you know what I'm saying, to get a team a jump start. It can't be the same thing. But a lot of people know this relationship between our general manager and our head coach. Some will speculate that Tibbs will get fired, but I don't know, man. I'm going to be real. If we don't make it out of the first round or the second round, I don't know if Tibbs' job is in jeopardy. Okay, we won 50 games for the second time in 2 seasons. Haven't been done in almost 30 years. So if you look at Tibbs and what he's done for this team and this organization, I don't know. But then you look at Malone, he won them a championship maybe like 3 years ago for the Nuggets, and they got rid of him. It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna be real with you. It's gonna be very interesting if the New York Knicks don't get out of the first round and Rose don't fire him. If the New York Knicks don't get out of the second round and Rose don't fire him, it's some leniency there. You know what I'm saying? Some, because Tibbs got a lot of fans, won't mind it. But I think if we get knocked out of the first round, even the Tibbs faithful gotta admit it's time to go because we got an all-star team. I don't care what nobody want to say. The Knicks have one of the best teams since winning the championship. Yeah, and that's saying a lot because that was a long time ago. I know a lot of people want to bring up Carmelo Anthony, Stoudemire. You can bring up Patrick Ewing. But if you think about this team that we have today, in my opinion, I think this is the best team we had since the New York Knicks won the championship. Allen Houston was a great player for this team. Patrick Ewing, Spreewell. I can name players. But they didn't have that chemistry to bring it all home. You know what I'm saying? We had a star player in Patrick Ewing that didn't know what humility was. He didn't even know the definition of team play. And I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? And some of you youngins might not understand that. But I watched Patrick Ewing play. He was not a team player. He was not a team player. So when you look at this team, today, the New York Knicks, what is made of Anunoby, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, McBride, Shamet. These guys all know what it takes to win a championship. And no, nobody got a ring. Do Shamet have a ring? I don't think nobody have a ring. Anunoby have a ring. And Precious Achiuwa, I think, with the Toronto Raptors. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But yeah, at the same time, this is going to be a very interesting scenario this year in the playoffs. If we don't get out of the first round, Tom Thibodeau deserves to get fired. If we get out of the second round, if we don't make it to the second round and don't get out of the second round, people expect us to be playing Boston. So that's why he might have some leeway. You know what I'm saying? Some leniency. If we get knocked out by the Boston Celtics, it won't be as dramatic, I guess. I don't know. But either way, in my opinion, if we lose either round, time for Tibbs to go. Tell me what y'all think. Hit me in the comments. Let me know. All right? Now, let's move right along and let's talk about OG Anunoby. Against the Suns, he had 32 points. He shot 13 for 17. That's efficient basketball right there. 6 for 8 from downtown, 6 rebounds and 3 assists. He didn't have any blocks or steals that game, but his defense is just more than blocks or steals. His presence alone, sometimes, just deter players, So just getting away. Let's be real, you know what I'm saying? Averaging over 20 points in the last 16 games. Can that carry over into the playoffs? I think it can. Because if you think about last year before he got hurt, before our players got hurt, and remember the play he got hurt on, he went up on a crazy dunk. I know y'all remember that. He went on a crazy dunk, came down hard, and that was that. If I'm remembering that play, I think it was a dunk. I know he went in. Did he score? But he got hurt on a play driving in, and be real, every time he went in last year, I was worried with him, just the way he go in. But this year, awesome. Like, people didn't think he had this in him. But if you think about, I'm being real, any NBA player in the NBA, at one point in time, they was the man, whether it was in high school or college or even junior high school. They were the man. So they have capabilities of scoring, of doing certain things that, a lot of people don't give them credit for. But Anunoby is a beast in disguise, and that beast is about to break out in the playoffs. Look at our stats. You know what I'm saying? When you look at our stats, when it comes to Boston, pace is right there. They both average 116 points a game. Rebounding, it's off by 1 or 2%. So there's no reason that we should be falling to Boston the way we fall into Boston all the time. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. There's no reason we should be falling to Boston the way that we fall into Boston. It got to get better than what has it been. You know what I'm saying? Tonight we play Boston. This is going to, as I look at the lineup, basically, other than what's this guy from Dominican Republic? My man, what's my man name? Y'all know him. He's not a center. I can't think of his name. Power forward. He played for them. But everybody else is a game time decision, and he's out. I didn't look at his injury. Tatum game time decision. White game time decision. Porzingis game time decision. Al Horford. He's the only person that out with a legitimate reason, I think. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, everybody is game time decision. Now, this, I was thinking about this right here. Let's say the starters don't start for the Knicks. For the Celtics. And they play their second unit and their third string players, and they beat the Knicks. And not only do they beat the Knicks handily. When I say handily, for those that don't understand, they beat the Knicks bad, really bad, blow them out. Like you see the last time we played the Knicks on 118 to 105, and it was worse than that. So let's be real. It got closer as the game started winding down, but that's still a 13-point lead. And if the Celtics was to come out with a second string unit and third stringers and beat the Knicks by more than 15 points, what do that say about our team? And I know I just said that we have an all-star caliber team, but what do that really say about our coach? Should Tom Thibodeau get fired just before the playoffs? That makes no sense. So that's why I really don't understand what the Nuggets did. Like, the playoffs starts in 2 weeks, April 19th. Like, why not fire that man after the playoffs? But it still put Tom Thibodeau, well, in my opinion, it should put Tom Thibodeau on his P's and Q's. But then again, like I said, that relationship with Leon Rose, it might be a little difficult. I don't know if they're willing to let Tom Thibodeau go right away so fast. After, like I said, he got us. This is our second 50-game winning season, and his 5 years being here. Going to the playoffs 4 times out of them 5 years. So right now, I don't know. I don't think they would fire Tom Thibodeau, even if we don't make it out of the first round. I'm just gonna be real. Like, we gotta keep thinking about that relationship between the GM and the coach. You know what I'm saying? Between the GM and the star player. His father. It's a relationship there. These men hang out together, you know what I'm saying? Before they became a unit, before they became to the New York Knicks, they was road dogs. So that's gonna be very interesting if the Knicks don't advance out of the first round, or if the Knicks don't get out of the second round. But if the Knicks get out of the second round and we get knocked out in the finals, Eastern Conference Finals, his job is safe, because that would be an achievement in itself. Like I said, he 225 wins. We going for our 226 win tonight. And to get back onto that subject, the starters are all game time decisions. And what happens if the Boston Celtics play their starters and the New York Knicks beat them? Yes, and the New York Knicks beat them by 10 points. As a Knicks fan, I know how good I would feel. Or will we say that the Celtics really didn't care about this game? This last game that the Knicks about to play is a double-edged sword if you look at it. Because if we beat them, whether they have the starters or not, a lot of people are going to say it didn't make a difference. They can't catch Cleveland, so they really wasn't playing for nothing. They was just playing, going through the motions. Let's be real. Now, that's with the starters. Now, if we beat them and the starters not playing, then a lot of people would say, "Oh, well, they haven't done anything because they didn't beat Jason Tatum and Brown and Porzingis, and they wasn't on the court." So it would still be that cloud hanging over the Knicks' head. Now, if we beat, that's the starters. If, excuse me, that was the bench players. But if we, like I said, it's a double-edged sword because if we beat the starters, then they're gonna say that the starters had nothing to play for, so they gave the Knicks that win. That's what they probably say. They gave the Knicks that win. People talk. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But these last few games, the Knicks got Celtics. Then we got who we played next? We played Detroit. We played Detroit. Then I know we played Cleveland somewhere down there, and that's another game that I don't think none of the starters will be playing for Cleveland. So even if we beat the Cavs, like right now, these games they're meaningful. You know what I'm saying? We only need one to clinch that third spot. They might be meaningful for Jalen Brunson to get into some type of game shape before he get into the playoffs. But I really thought when he got down to the last 4 or 5 games, we would be seeing more of like Tyler Kolek and our rookies, getting playing time just in case anything do happen. I really thought that we would be seeing them guys. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna say something. I know a lot of y'all gonna agree with me, but Cam Payne can sit his ass on the bench. Excuse me, I don't mean like the curse, but Cam Payne can sit on the bench. I want to see Wright out there. Wright is 6'5". He doesn't force shots. Payne forces too many shots. Payne makes shots when you need them. Payne can be a pain. I'm just gonna be real. But I want to see Wright out there before Payne. Deuce came back, looked at good, making threes. But I want to see Payne. I want to see Wright instead of Payne. I want to see Wright paired with Deuce. It takes a lot of pressure off Deuce. And I know Wright is going to find Deuce in the corner. And if you think about Deuce McBride and Wright playing that front court, that's a better defensive. That's better defense up front. You know what I'm saying? I'm being real. You know what I'm saying? I think they have a better defensive tandem than having Payne out there with McBride. But if you put Wright and McBride together, they're gonna be stopping a lot of balls. It ain't gonna be too much penetration to the hoop. That's my opinion, and that's what I'm speculating because these are two defensive-minded players, and Wright is not a slouch with the 3-point. He's not going to hit 5 threes in the game, but he's going to give you at least 1 or 2, and when it counts. Same thing with Payne, just that Payne defense, in my opinion, is not on par with Wright defense. I think Wright is a much better defensive player. So this is going to be very interesting playoffs. If the Knicks don't get out of the first round, will he? If the Knicks don't get out of the first round, we're going to be talking about get rid of Tibbs. It's going to be get rid of Tibbs. It has to be get rid of Tibbs. If the Knicks don't get out of the first round, Tibbs has to be fired. But once again, like I said, he still got us our second 50th win season in 2 years. Got us to the playoffs 4 out of his 5 years. So he's done things for this organization that one would say or could say he deserved another 2 years. But then you think about Mike Malone. Mike Malone won that team, that organization, a championship. And as reported from Shams, from ESPN, I cannot say his last name, Karina. Malone is gone. He's no longer the head coach of the Denver Nuggets. The GM is out. Ooh. Well, Dolan been stepping back and letting Leon Rose do his job. So I don't know. I don't think Dolan will fire Leon Rose because the talent that Leon Rose brung in justify whether we make it out of the first round or second round or not. It justify him staying and being our GM and moving further and trying to get us that player that can compare with Karl Anthony Towns and Anunoby and Brunson, that one more star to get us over that hump. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't gonna bring this up, but the ridiculous of I've been hearing people talking about Kevin Durant for Anunoby. Oh God, sometimes it hurts to be a Knicks fan. I'm gonna be real with you, cause the stupidity. The stupidity. Why bring in somebody who's about to almost be 40? That if you look at that lineup in Phoenix, Booker and Bill and Kevin Durant, them three players alone, you would have said that that team was going to be at least be the third or the second seed of the West. What do you think, Kevin Durant could do for the New York Knicks that he didn't do for the Brooklyn Nets? That he didn't not doing for the Phoenix Suns? Like I said, it hurts the head sometime to be a Knicks fan and have to listen to the stupidity. I know people who want to make this team better. I know. But when you say things like that, that's like going back to the old Knicks. And believe me, I know the old Knicks because I was a fan and y'all see the gray, so I was around. And it would be repeating the same thing that we was did back in the 2000s and the 1900s. Is get players that old and over their prime and this on their last legs. Only thing they got is a name. The name. And the name is not enough. We had Baron Davis, y'all, but Baron Davis was on his way down. I could just name them. The best player we got that was still in his prime and for trade would be Carmelo Anthony and Stoudemire. And them guys cannot do it. They didn't have that point guard. And by the time they got the point guard, too much stuff was happening. And we had the wrong coach at the wrong time, at the right time. Mike Wood was the good coach. Dan Antonio. Oh man. How can I describe him? Even for what he was known for, getting up and down in court, it was sad watching. Oh God, being a Knicks fan with Mike D'Antonio running the ship. Oh man. Like I said, man, I've been a Knicks fan for a minute. I seen coaches come and go. And that's why when people start talking about how great this coach is, I reflect and I look back at the coaches we had, but the rosters that them coaches had to try to go out and win with. You know? Like I said, I reflect and I remember. But I give Tibbs his props. I'm going to be real with you. I give Tibbs his props. You know what I'm saying? He's a damn good assistant coach. I was going to say it like that. A head coach, he is. I was like, all right, let me stop that. Right? He's a good head coach. But he's not a championship head coach. And I'm hoping and I'm praying that he proves me wrong. I'm being real with y'all, ladies and gentlemen. I want him to prove me wrong. He got to. And I wouldn't mind being wrong. If he can win us a championship, because in my heart, I believe we have a team right now that can win a championship. It just take the right coaching, the right manipulation of players, the right strategy. It just takes that. You know, taking chances when chances are needed to be taken, playing outside or coaching outside the box. It just takes that. Not being so predictable. And that's one thing we got to be real. Tom Thibodeau, offense and defense is predictable. That's for real, y'all. I don't make this up. It is so predictable. But because we have the players that we have, we can overcome the predictiveness. If that is even a word. If that's even a word. But yeah, the season is winding down. We're going to have at least 2 weeks, a week and a half with no basketball. Guys going to be talking about all kind of things. Everything's going to be flying. This is going to be flying. You're going to get hit with some stuff. But we have to think about Tom Thibodeau. And if he doesn't get us out the first round, should he go? Should he go? Something gonna have to change. Something's gonna have to change. Give me a second here, real quick. Just give me 1 second. For the Knicks to be a successful team, something's gonna have to change. Tell me what y'all think. Hit me in the comments. Um, About to call it a show. Get ready for this Boston game. Like I said, if the Knicks win and the starters don't play, what will they say? All right, y'all. With that being said, I want everybody to stay safe, stay healthy. God bless, and peace.